Well, a milestone for you, Greg, with your number of appearances, and really in this day and age, for any player to spend that long at a club, it's a great achievement. It just doesn't happen that often, and I know sometimes it's to do with different circumstances, but you must be really pleased with it.
Yeah, I'm delighted with it, really. Like you say, you don't really get too many opportunities in your career to be at one club for a long period of time. And I've thoroughly enjoyed myself here. And yeah, I'm really proud to hit those kind of milestones.
And the chance to really mark it in the best possible way this weekend by rubber stamping promotion, the two will go together hopefully really nicely.
Yeah, fingers crossed. That's what we're working for. Yeah, we've been working this week to try and get the best result possible we can on Friday, and if that happens, then yeah, we could have something special to celebrate.
How has this season compared with the promotion campaign from 2014? Have there been certain similarities? Clearly, the big difference has been the backdrop of COVID.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been some similarities between the two. I think in both squads, the team spirit's been a huge part of that. And I think that's always, when you look at promotion teams, I think if you probably ask a few of the lads in those teams, the team spirit's massive. So yeah, that's definitely one thing that's definitely there in both teams. And just a freedom to go and play, really, especially maybe this year. We've got a little bit more of a freedom to go and play. The Bonds gives us that and the encouragement to go and do it. But yeah, I'd say team spirit's probably the main thing.
Yeah, and a different role for you this time around in terms of position, clearly, and that you were left back then, and now you're in the centre. But also, I suppose you have, just given the experience and the number of games, you've just had more responsibility than would have been the case last time.
Yeah, I'm one of the senior ones now. I think Wes just pips me to be a little bit older, which I'm quite happy about. But yeah, I'm one of the senior ones now, so I have to kind of use that experience and try and help some of the younger ones that say maybe haven't been in this situation before. And I'm obviously fortunate enough to have been in that situation before. So just a few words here and there and try and keep the group calm, really.
Yeah, how much of a skill is that? Clearly, you have to concentrate on your own game first and foremost. But then once you get to that stage in your career where you can also look at the bigger picture and I suppose to some degree be worrying about what other people are doing, how difficult is it to combine those two things?
I think initially it's quite difficult to kind of work on your own game, but obviously try and take care of the overall project. It can be a little bit hard to kind of get used to, but now that kind of just becomes part of my game now. So I obviously first and foremost do my job for the team, but I'm obviously giving a bit of advice, guidance, motivation, them kind of things, trying to keep a little bit of balance really between being nice and aggressive and motivated, and then also being calm when we need to be calm. So you kind of pick that up in the role that I've got at the minute, and I'm enjoying it.
Probably the biggest drama at the back this season was that moment in the January transfer window when both Harry and Robbie left the club, and suddenly it was all changed. What was that period like? I guess you weren't expecting it to develop in the way it did.
No, I think if you could have seen one of them probably go in, that you'd have accepted that. But the pair of them obviously leaving us and within the space of a week was a little bit of a shock. But you trust the management and the staff and everyone, they're going to bring in the right players, and they have done. You can see that the two boys in Deck and Jibril that they've put alongside me, and Adji obviously hasn't had much game time, but either one of them can step in and have done throughout the back end of the season, have done brilliant. So it's been kind of a smooth transition, if you say.
Yeah, a really smooth transition, particularly given at that moment with the winter weather and the number of games, the time you would have had on the training ground was presumably quite limited.
Yeah, the pitches here freeze like probably most other pitches, and with the COVID and things like that, you don't have the beauty of being able to go indoors now. So yeah, it was a little bit strange at first because you've got three new bodies coming in, all challenging for kind of two positions, but one that was really open at the time. So it was just kind of who kind of grabbed it first, and I think it was Gibral at the time, I think, something like that. Can't remember now, it's been such a long time. But yeah, he grabbed it with both hands and we kind of bonded for a little bit. And I think once you get kind of 1 or 2 games together with each person, you kind of learn to play with each other. So it's not too much stress.
Yeah, well, generally you talk about having a centre-back pairing. That's what a lot of clubs go for if they're playing the back four. But even prior to Harry and Robbie leaving, the two of them have been coming in and out the side, and then you'd have that spell in midfield as well. So there'd been plenty of mixing around.
Yeah, I think because we had a few injuries, I found myself in the middle again for a couple of games, which I don't mind doing. But yeah, we've obviously mixed and matched a little bit this season. But I think that's kind of the beauty of having a squad that is able to do that. At the time with myself, Robbie and Harry, you could have put any 2 of the 3 in there and you'd have been comfortable with the job that you needed to do. So that's the beauty of having the kind of the strength and depth.
Yeah, and just to finish, clearly it's a really, really big prize to get to League One, but particularly for someone like you, where you've been working your way up, and I think this will be the highest level that you've played at. You're talking about being later on in your career. Great to get there at this stage, all being well, and have the opportunity to have a crack at it.
Yeah, 100% really. It's massive to do it with this club. I've kind of had the first kind of bit of success with the club to get back into the Football League, and a reason why I've stayed is because I do want to help push the club forward, and it'd be brilliant to kind of get to my latter stage of the career where I might not have too many years left, but I've still got a couple in me, and that will be at a higher level. So that would be brilliant for me. In terms of playing in League One, I back myself. I probably haven't had an opportunity to do that yet, but I back myself to go and play, and I'd thoroughly enjoy it.
Cool, that's great for me.
All good for me, thanks.
Okay, just a few from me, if that's all right. You admitted yourself it's been a roller coaster sort of few years or a number of years. And I suspect this answer might change if I ask you in a week's time, but can you pick out your high and your low of your time at the U so far?
Yeah, that's tough. I think the high, is throughout my whole time here, it's got to be the promotion season. I think that's pretty fair and easy to see. It's just a massive achievement there. But again, that was a long time ago. So yeah, I've kind of parked that now and fully focused on things that are up and coming and things like that. My worst was probably a couple of seasons into being into the Football League, and the vibe around the club wasn't too great and we weren't playing well, and I was in and out of the team. So I wasn't really enjoying it then. So that was probably one of my low points of being at Cambridge, really.
But since then, I suspect, has the move to centre half really sort of, I mean, you've always played regularly at the club, but did it really sort of cement your place as a mainstay in the side? I mean, since then you've got the armband, and if you look at the team sheet every week, you're probably one of the first names on it.
Yeah, I think always in the back of my mind, I thought as I was getting on in my career, I'd probably move to centre half. It's probably a little bit more suited to me. And if I'm honest, when I was younger and I was first trying to come through as a youth team player in a first year pro, I kind of did struggle for a position because I kind of just loved playing football, and I kind of fell into playing left back. But yeah, I at times had played centre half, so that was always kind of going to be a move. But I think it's done me well. I think I've kind of flourished since being back there, and I'm incredibly proud to wear the armband and lead the boys out on a Saturday and a Tuesday. So yeah, like I say, I'm just proud to do that.
You mentioned the vibe and the feeling at the club at the difficult time. How sort of highly would you rate the current feeling in the dressing room compared to years gone by?
Yeah, I think it's a great feeling, to be honest. It's really enjoyable to come in and work every day, and the boys just enjoy it. And I think there's no more really praise I can give Bonds and the staff for doing that and encouraging that and kind of creating that environment. And when we're all enjoying ourselves, you kind of see that on the pitch, and we've got the results from doing that. So this year has just been incredibly enjoyable, and I think you can see that.
And just lastly, as you know, and as the club will know, this weekend from Friday to Monday, the club and the rest of pretty much the whole of football in England are taking part in the social media boycott. You're on Twitter and Instagram yourself. Have you ever come across any abuse of any kind, or do you know of any players in the rest of the squad who have done so?
I think abuse is kind of just, it shouldn't be, but it's standard. In football, you do get it from rival teams, fans and things like that. I don't agree with it. I think, yeah, okay, watch the game, but let's be honest, the people have got careers and lives and mortgages to pay for, and that's why they go out and do it. So why you should be getting abuse, I don't know. But I'm fully behind the whole social blackout. We will be taking part. It's very important, and hopefully that it kind of educates people and raises more awareness to the likes of Twitter, Instagram, and the social media platforms to kind of maybe do something about it, because it's got to a point where it's not acceptable anymore.
Thanks, Greg. It's great.
Hi, Greg. What's the mood been like in the camp ahead of this one, given the circumstances surrounding last weekend and everyone hoping that promotion would have been secured then?
I think after the game, as you can imagine, there was a little bit of frustration and things like that we didn't get the result we wanted. But like we have done all season, we kind of parked the result after the game and it's done. We move on very quickly and focus on the next one. And literally we came in Tuesday, fresh-minded, the vibe was good. And just everybody's just enjoying training and kind of preparing ready for Friday. It's no different to any other game. We're not building it up any more so. And I think that's really how it should be treated.
We've spoken a lot about the resilience this season of this side, the ability to bounce back from defeat. How important is that going to be ahead of this one, given the importance of the game?
I think it's probably as important as every other time we've done it. We've had obviously losses at Exeter and gone and beat Newport, and done it a few times throughout the season. So granted, there's more of a reward off the back of this result. But we wouldn't be in this situation if we hadn't have done it previously. So in terms of bouncing back, it's no different to doing it at any time other in the season.
What have you made of Mark Bonner's impact this season, the way that he's turned this side from what was effectively a mid-table side last year to on the brink of securing promotion in this one?
I think he's been a breath of fresh air, really. He's come in and really kind of given everyone a clean slate, and he's, like I said before, he's given and created an environment for everybody to come and enjoy themselves, recruited a great honest lads that want to go out and work and are all pushing each other and encouraging each other to be better. The staff they're all there for you. So he's kind of just created a really enjoyable working environment and given everybody clear instructions of what's required of them when they go on the pitch. And I think you can see the results and the rewards that he's got from that.
You were obviously part of the promotion-winning side in 2014. If you are able to do it this season, would this one top that one, do you think?
Yeah, I think for me it would. I think I've enjoyed this one a little bit more, which is a little bit strange because obviously the restrictions and stuff in place, but it's kind of made it a little bit more special in a way, in a sense that we've had a lot of stuff to kind of overcome and deal with and things like that. And regardless of what's kind of been thrown at us, we've dealt with it and got on with it. There's been no moaning or anything like that. We've kind of just dealt with everything head on and kind of attacked it. So I think this one could be a little bit more special. And as you do get to kind of your later stages in your career, you're not going to get too many of these opportunities. So yeah, I think this one could be a little bit more special.
You obviously spoke about how much you're enjoying your time at Cambridge at the minute. You're obviously out of contract in the summer. Do you see yourself staying next season regardless of what league the club finds itself in?
It's not something that I've spoke about. I'm not really thinking about it too much, to be honest. Them kind of things sort themselves out towards the back end of the season. To be thinking about that now would be kind of wrong. We're all kind of just focused on doing one thing, really. So I'm sure once that's done, we can start to think about those kind of things. But like I say, I'm not too worried about it. Whatever happens, kind of will.
Thanks, Greg. Good luck tomorrow.
Greg, just quickly following up on something Ollie asked. Of those 350 games, are there any? Do any particularly stand out?
I think it's hard to remember many. I think you've got the memorable ones like the Man United game and things like that they're obviously very memorable. But yeah, there's not too many that kind of stand out really, if I'm honest. It's just kind of the memorable ones like the Man United, the playoff final and stuff like that really. So you never know. Friday could be up there with one of the memorable ones, but if not, then you never know. Could just be stuck with those two.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Greg.
Surprised you didn't say the goal against Crewe, Greg.
Well, yeah, I know. To be honest, I probably should have done because I don't really score many, do I? So I'll probably look back on the Crewe and see that as one of the highlights.